Hi, I'm Kurt Loder, and this is the news at night. Today was Sebastian Bach Day up in Springfield, Massachusetts, or at least it was in Springfield's Camden County Hall of Justice, where the Skid Row singer was arraigned today on assault and mayhem charges that could, if proved in a trial, put him behind bars well into the next century, although that is a very remote prospect. Bach has been free on $10,000 bail since his arrest following a concert in Springfield on December 27th, at which Skid Row was opening up for Aerosmith. During Skid Row's set, the singer was struck by a bottle hurled from the audience, and he hurled it back, allegedly striking a 17-year-old girl in the crowd. Bach then leaped into the audience, allegedly landing on the girl and also kicking another fan in the chin. The girl sustained facial cuts and bruises, and Bach was apprehended in a car after the show by Massachusetts State Police. Our man John Norris was in Springfield today checking all of this out, and here's his report. John?
All right, thanks, Kurt. You know, it was an unusual quirk in Skid Row's tour schedule with Aerosmith that found them making their second trip to Springfield, Massachusetts in 2 weeks. For Sebastian Bach, that meant a second trip here to the Hampton County Hall of Justice. It all stems from an incident of concert violence that allegedly took place December 27th over at Springfield Civic Center. That's the night that Sebastian allegedly responded to being hit by a bottle thrown from the audience by throwing a bottle back into the crowd and seriously injuring the face of a 17-year-old girl. He then allegedly jumped into the crowd and kicked the chin of a male member of the audience. Even for a guy with a rowdy reputation like Sebastian's, these are pretty serious charges. The name on the court docket read Sebastian Bach, but everyone knew who the defendant was. Metal's #1 sex symbol, uncharacteristically decked out in a jacket and tie, was moved to an upstairs courtroom to avoid a crush of fans. But there were no smiles as he heard the full slate of charges against him. 2 counts of assault and battery, 2 counts of assault and battery with a dangerous weapon, and 1 count of mayhem. Bach's plea, not guilty to all charges, and his attorney would not say much more than that as they left the court.
Today, Sebastian has pled not guilty. By his plea of not guilty, Sebastian has said that he is not guilty of the criminal charges filed against him. This case is going to be tried in the courts, and there will be no further comment made by the defense until the conclusion of the case. Thank you.
3 of the 5 charges against Sebastian represent a maximum jail term of 10 years. The most disturbing among them may be mayhem, a charge of violence in which maiming or disfigurement is involved. That charge, of course, arises from the young woman hit by the bottle, who reportedly suffered severe facial cuts and bruises. As recently as yesterday, the Springfield City Council hinted that it might try to keep Skid Row off of tonight's bill. That never happened, to the delight of Skid Row fans, who, despite the incident, are sticking by Sebastian.
I don't think he should go to jail or nothing or get arrested. That's not right. It's not his fault for somebody that threw the bottle and hit him in the head with it.
Well, I guess he could have dealt it differently, but I know if it was me, I would have went right after him, too.
If they want to be just, they should get the guy who threw the bottle.
And several people we spoke with said that bottle was thrown as the result of a bet.
They're standing next to us. They're like, oh, I bet you can't hit Sebastian Bach. I'll bet you $50 you won't be able to hit him with the bottle. And then they threw it, and I guess they did hit him.
But what was a bottle doing in the arena in the first place? Apparently, the Springfield Civic Center does not check concert audiences for bottles and cans, as many venues do. Fans say that's negligent, and indications are Sebastian's lawyers will say the same. Civic Center spokesman Mike Graney says the arena's policy of not checking for bottles is a result of another court decision.
There was a suit brought against the city, I think 10 years ago, challenging the city's right to search on civil rights grounds. There was an agreement reached in that suit, and that agreement governs our policies and what we can and cannot do. I think there's some sense on several people that we think that should be modified, but as it stands right now, there's a federal court decree that says we can do this and we can't do some other things. We follow that decree.
So are you more, as far as you know, restricted than, say, other cities and other venues in other cities?
Yeah, I think that's a fair statement.
As for the girl who was injured at the concert, Skid Row's manager Scott McGee tells me that Sebastian has yet to meet with her, but he says he's very concerned about her and would like to do so. As for Sebastian himself, well, he's out on $10,000 bail once again, as he has been for the last 2 weeks. The tour with Aerosmith continues, and a trial date has been set for here in Springfield on May 15th. In Springfield, Massachusetts, I'm John Norris for MTV News.
Thanks, John. As it happens, the incident for which Bach has been charged was actually recorded by a fan who smuggled a video camera into that December 27th concert. That fan, who wants to remain anonymous, sent the footage to MTV News, and we're going to show it to you right now. Since Bach punctuates his stage patter with a number of common 4, 7, and 10-letter words that are traditionally taboo on TV, we've bleeped them out, but you'll get the idea. And now, live in Springfield, Massachusetts last month, here's Skid Row with Sebastian Bach. Sebastian Bach in Springfield, Massachusetts. No telling what effect, if any, the existence of that tape will have on any criminal proceedings against Bach, who has pleaded innocent to all charges, but we will keep you posted. Time now for a quick break, but we'll be back with Prince news, Little Richard news, a visit with UB40, and a hot new band called Snatches of Pink. So don't go away.